The Ark station floated in the cold darkness between two dying stars. From the outside, it looked like a quiet ring of silver, but inside it held the greatest gathering in the history of the galaxy. Representatives of 27 intelligent species filled the council chamber, their shapes and colors bright against the dull metal walls. They had come from every corner of known space, but their faces carried the same expression: fear. No one spoke at first. The giant hall, built to echo with debate and diplomacy, was filled instead with the low hum of failing power systems. Screens flickered along the curved walls, each one showing a different tragedy. Entire star systems had gone dark in the past weeks. Fleets sent to investigate had vanished without a trace. The brightest scientists of every race had failed to explain the cause. At the center of the chamber stood Admiral Serath of the Vereen, a tall figure with smooth silver skin and eyes that shimmered like molten light. He had once been known for his calm authority, but now his voice carried a sharp edge as he finally addressed the council. "Friends," Serath began, his words translated instantly into a dozen languages. "We have studied the anomaly for months. We have sent our fastest ships and our bravest explorers. We have fired weapons of unimaginable power and launched shields stronger than gravity itself. None of it matters. The anomaly consumes everything. Star by star, system by system, it cannot be stopped." A low murmur spread across the chamber. The Clith ambassadors folded their wings and hissed softly. The crystalline delegates of the Therelians vibrated in tones of dread. Even the stoic Rylans, whose people had endured supernovae and wars that lasted centuries, bowed their heavy heads. "It is alive?" asked Counselor Imara of the gentle Selnari. Her blue eyes glistened like water in the dim light. Serath shook his head. "Not alive, not dead. It is a force beyond life, a wound in the fabric of the universe." He raised one long hand, and the screens shifted to display a single glowing spiral of light, a galaxy half consumed by spreading darkness. "It began here," he said, pointing to a faint cluster of stars. "Now it expands faster than light itself. In less than one rotation, the anomaly will reach the core worlds." Panic followed. Some shouted for evacuation, others for surrender to the unknown. Old rivalries flared as species accused each other of hidden weapons or secret experiments. The great council chamber, once a place of peace, became a storm of hopeless voices. Serath raised his voice again, forcing silence. "We have called for help from every ally. We have sent messages beyond the rim. There is no answer. There is no weapon. There is no hope." His words fell like a final verdict. For a long moment no one moved. The lights dimmed as if the station itself mourned. Then a small, thin figure stepped forward. Archivist Talon of the Drevi was not a warrior or a leader. His people were historians who spent their lives preserving old knowledge. He carried only a simple data crystal that glowed softly in his four-fingered hands. "There is one record," Talon said, his voice trembling. "A fragment from the Forgotten Age." The council turned toward him. Some frowned in confusion. The Forgotten Age was a time of chaos long before the council existed, when species fought endless wars and whole civilizations disappeared. Few trusted stories from that era. Talon placed the crystal into the central projector. A sphere of light filled the chamber, showing old symbols and half-broken maps. "In the archives of my world," he said, "we found a message. It speaks of a species called humans. They were different. They did not bend to logic as we do. They thrived on chaos. They shaped impossible victories from certain defeat." A ripple of disbelief passed through the council. "Humans?" growled General Carr of the Rylans. "My ancestors spoke of them as a myth. They burned bright and vanished. Their worlds were silent even before the council was formed." "They are not a myth," Talon insisted. "Our oldest records claim that humans once walked among the stars. They were reckless, creative, dangerous, and then gone. Some say they destroyed themselves. Others believe they hid," Serath frowned. "Even if they existed, they are dust now. How can a dead species save the living?" Talon met the Admiral's glowing eyes. "Because they thought in ways we do not. Where we see disaster, they saw a challenge. If any mind can find a path where none exists, perhaps it is theirs." A tense silence followed. No one wanted to admit it, but deep inside, many felt a spark of something they had not felt in months. Possibility. Counselor Imara spoke softly. "Do we know where to find them?" Talon adjusted the projection. A small blue-green dot appeared on a map of the Orion Arm. "Old records name this world Earth. It was once their home. There are whispers of hidden colonies, but nothing certain. Perhaps they are gone. Perhaps not." General Carr folded his massive arms. We waste time chasing ghosts. Ghosts, Talon said. May be our only chance. Arguments erupted again, but this time, the tone was different. Fear mixed with fragile hope. What if the humans were still out there? What if they could be reached? Admiral Sarath studied the map, his silver eyes narrowing. We have sent messages to every known ally. We have begged the most advanced minds in the galaxy. None have answered. Perhaps it is time to call those who are unknown. His voice hardened. Prepare a signal. Use every frequency, every quantum channel. Send it to the coordinates of this Earth. If humans remain, they will hear us. The council chamber fell silent once more. Every delegate understood the weight of this decision. They were about to call on a species they did not know. A species spoken of in stories of chaos and brilliance. But what choice remained? Sarath looked around the chamber. All in favor? One by one, glowing hands, crystal limbs, feathered wings, and scaled claws were raised. Even the skeptical General Carr lifted his heavy arm. It is decided, Sarath said. We make a final call. To a human. Technicians rushed to their consoles, activating transmitters older than memory. Energy surged through the ARC station, as a beam of coded light shot across the dark void toward a small blue world no one had seen for centuries. In the quiet that followed, the council waited. For the first time in months, their fear was joined by something else. Not confidence, not certainty, but a flicker of daring. A feeling none of their logical minds could fully name. Far across the cold emptiness of space, the signal raced toward an unknown future. Would anyone answer? No one could say. But for the first time since the anomaly began, the galaxy dared to hope. And somewhere, on a distant, quiet planet, old receivers began to hum. On the far edge of the Orion Arm, a lonely blue planet circled a quiet yellow star. The world once called Earth slept beneath endless skies, its oceans glittering with calm light. To most of the galaxy, Earth was only a myth, a name buried in forgotten charts. But deep beneath the planet's surface, in the shadows of ancient mountains, humans still watched the stars. Captain Mira Hayes sat in the dark command room of the Earth Defense Relay. The station was hidden inside a hollow mountain, its entrance sealed behind layers of stone and metal. Rows of quiet machines hummed around her, tracking signals from distant space. For centuries, humans had kept their presence secret, growing in silence while the galaxy believed they were gone. Mira leaned back in her chair, eyes fixed on a wall of blinking lights. The relay rarely received anything more than natural pulses from dying stars or the faint whispers of old satellites. But tonight, a strange rhythm flickered across the main screen, an urgent pattern she had never seen before. Her second-in-command, Lieutenant Isaac Chen, entered the room carrying a steaming cup of tea. He stopped when he saw the signal. That's not local, he said softly. No, Mira replied. Her voice was calm, but her heart beat faster. It's coming from deep space. And it's coded. Isaac placed the cup down and moved to the controls. Together they watched the signal grow stronger, weaving through layers of static like a heartbeat. It pulsed with desperate energy as if racing against time. Mira activated the decryption array. Lines of alien symbols spilled across the screen, shapes and sounds from languages no human had spoken for centuries. The computer struggled to translate, pulling fragments of meaning from the ancient galactic codes stored in their hidden archives. Message origin, unknown, the system reported. Translation, emergency survival, request for assistance. Isaac stared at the glowing words. Someone out there is calling for help, he whispered. Mira felt a chill run through her. For generations, humans had chosen silence. After the great wars of the Forgotten Age, Earth turned inward, tired of conflict and discovery. They built hidden stations, shielded their signals, and waited for the galaxy to forget them. Few even believed that other civilizations still existed. But this message was real. Someone out there, some people were in danger. Should we alert the Council? Isaac asked. Mira shook her head. The Earth Council preferred caution over action. They would debate for months before even acknowledging the signal. By then, whoever sent it might be gone. We don't wait, she said firmly. Prepare a response, Isaac hesitated. Captain, breaking silence means, I know what it means, Mira interrupted. But if they're desperate enough to call across the galaxy, we answer. Isaac studied her face, then gave a small nod. Yes, Captain. The crew of the relay station moved quickly. Hidden transmitters unfolded from the mountain's peak, their dark metal shining under the stars. Energy surged through old power conduits, humming with a strength not used for generations. Mira stepped to the main console and activated the quantum channel. A thin line of light appeared across the screen, linking their system to the unknown coordinates of the message's origin. Her reflection stared back at her from the black surface, sharp eyes, short dark hair, and a quiet determination that reminded her of the explorers from old Earth history. She took a deep breath and began to speak. "This is Captain Mira Hayes of Earth," she said, her voice steady. "We have received your signal. Identify yourself and explain your situation." The words raced into the void, carried by quantum pulses faster than light. For a long moment there was only silence. Then the screen flickered and the faint outline of a figure appeared. The image sharpened into the tall, silver-skinned form of Admiral Sarath aboard the Ark station. His eyes glowed faintly as he looked at her, disbelief plain on his face. Behind him, Mira glimpsed a vast chamber filled with beings of every shape and color. "This is Admiral Sarath of the United Stellar Council," he said slowly, as if unsure his own senses were real. "You are human?" "Yes," Mira answered. "And you are in trouble." Sarath blinked, his expression tightening. "You received our signal? But your kind vanished ages ago. The records say humanity destroyed itself or fled beyond the stars." "We chose silence," Mira said. "The galaxy thought we were gone. But we never stopped watching." A ripple of voices echoed behind Sarath, aliens whispering in disbelief. Mira caught fragments of the translated speech. Impossible. Dangerous. Unpredictable. Sarath raised a hand for silence. "We face a threat unlike any before. An expanding anomaly devours entire systems. No weapon or technology can halt it. We called across the galaxy for aid. None answered. Why would you risk breaking your isolation to speak with us?" Mira's eyes hardened. "Because you asked." The simple words seemed to startle the entire chamber. Sarath studied her carefully. "Do you claim you can stop this force?" "I claim nothing," Mira said, leaning forward. "But I can try. Humans solve problems others call impossible. Tell me everything." Isaac glanced at her, surprised by the quiet confidence in her tone. She gave him a small smile, one of those human gestures of calm that hid 1,000 racing thoughts. Sarath hesitated, then gestured to someone off-screen. A new image appeared, a map of the galaxy with a growing shadow spreading outward like ink in water. "This anomaly began here," Sarath explained, pointing to a cluster of stars. "It consumes matter, energy, even light. Our scientists call it a spatial wound. It moves faster than we can travel. Soon it will reach the core worlds. When it does, all will end." Mira studied the map, her mind running through possibilities. The pattern of expansion, the strange ripples at its edges. It looked less like a natural disaster and more like a puzzle waiting to be solved. "What weapons have you used?" she asked. "All," Sarath replied grimly. "Plasma arrays, quantum disruptors, gravitational nets. Nothing slows it. Every fleet we send is lost." Mira tapped a control, capturing the data. "And your scientists?" "They search for answers, but logic fails. The anomaly obeys no known law." A spark lit in Mira's eyes. "Good," she said. Sarath tilted his head. "Good? If it breaks every law you know," Mira replied, "then you haven't found the right one yet. Humans thrive on breaking limits." The council chamber behind Sarath erupted in confused murmurs. Some delegates looked angry, others curious. To them, the human's casual defiance sounded reckless. But there was something in her voice, an edge of possibility that none could ignore. Sarath leaned closer to the screen. "You speak as if you can help." "I can try," Mira repeated. "But I need full access to your research and permission to approach the anomaly." A heavy silence followed. Council members exchanged rapid gestures and coded signals. Allowing an unknown species, especially one with a reputation for unpredictability, near the most dangerous phenomenon in the galaxy, was unthinkable. Finally, Sarath spoke. "Our laws forbid sharing such data with outsiders, and your people are untested." Mira did not flinch. "Then stay and debate while the galaxy dies. Or let us help." Her words cut through the chamber like a blade. Even through the screen, Isaac felt the weight of the moment. Sarath's silver eyes narrowed. "You risk much by speaking so boldly." "So do you," Mira said softly. You sent a call to the unknown, I answered. Now decide if you truly want help. For a long time, no one spoke. Then Counselor Imara, the gentle blue-eyed Selnari, stepped into view. Her voice carried the quiet strength of someone who valued life above fear. Admiral, the humans may be our only chance. We must trust them. One by one, other delegates nodded. The tide was turning. Sirath exhaled slowly, a faint shimmer passing over his silver skin. Very well, Captain Mira Hayes. You and your team will be granted temporary clearance. We will transmit our findings and send coordinates for rendezvous. Mira allowed herself a small, satisfied smile. Good, prepare everything. We leave within the hour. The screen flickered as the connection closed. Silence returned to the relay station, broken only by the hum of cooling machines. Isaac turned to Mira. You just promised to face the most dangerous force in the galaxy. Mira's smile widened. Yes, isn't it exciting? Isaac shook his head, but a spark of admiration shone in his eyes. You're going to get us killed. Maybe, Mira said, but not today. Outside, the transmitters folded back into the mountain as the first human mission to rejoin the galaxy prepared for launch. For centuries, Earth had slept, hidden and forgotten. Now, because of a single call for help, humanity was awake again. And somewhere beyond the stars, the galaxy's greatest danger waited for the only species reckless enough to challenge it. The Dauntless slipped from Earth's hidden docks like a shadow. Its dark hull shone faintly under the light of distant stars as it jumped into the quantum lane toward the Arc station. Inside the sleek ship, humans worked with quiet focus. For the first time in centuries, a human crew was traveling openly to meet the galaxy. Captain Mira Hayes stood on the command deck, hands behind her back, eyes fixed on the swirl of starlight beyond the viewport. The jump tunnel flickered like a river of lightning. Each flash brought them closer to the mysterious anomaly, a wound in space that no alien power could heal. Lieutenant Isaac Chen checked the navigation console. Course locked, he said. We'll reach the Arc station in 3 hours. Good, Mira replied. Let's see if the galaxy is ready for us. The crew moved with steady efficiency, but an undercurrent of excitement flowed through the ship. For generations, humans had hidden in silence. Now they were racing toward the heart of a crisis that could end every living world. The Arc station hung in orbit around a dead star, its silver ring glowing faintly against the black void. As the Dauntless approached, a swarm of escort ships surrounded them. Their designs reflected dozens of alien species, spiked, winged, crystalline, but none fired. Dauntless, you are cleared for docking, came the calm voice of Admiral Sarath. Welcome, humans. The docking clamps latched with a metallic hiss. Mira and her team prepared to disembark. They wore simple gray suits marked only with the old Earth insignia, a circle of blue and green. No weapons, no flags, no demands. Only the quiet strength of explorers returning to the stars. The docking bay doors opened. Bright light flooded in, revealing a chamber crowded with delegates from across the galaxy. Creatures of every shape, tall and scaled, short and feathered, glowing and crystalline, watched with cautious eyes as the humans stepped onto the deck. Mira walked forward with steady steps. Isaac followed, carrying a slim case of data tablets. Behind them came the engineering team, led by Dr. Lila Voss, a quiet woman with sharp eyes and a mind full of impossible equations. Admiral Sarath waited at the center of the chamber. His silver skin reflected the docking lights like liquid metal. He studied Mira for a long moment, as if searching for some hidden truth. Captain Hayes, he said at last, his voice carrying across the chamber. You honor us with your arrival. Mira inclined her head. The honor is ours, Admiral. Thank you for trusting us. Sarath's gaze flicked to the humans behind her. Trust is a word we do not use lightly. Your species was once unpredictable. Some things never change, Mira replied with a small smile. A ripple of uneasy laughter moved through the gathered aliens. Sarath gestured for them to follow. Come, the council awaits. The council chamber was even larger than Mira had imagined. A vast circle of polished metal surrounded a glowing map of the galaxy. Around the ring sat the leaders of 27 species, their forms shining in the soft blue light. At the center, a single projection displayed the anomaly, a swirling darkness spreading across star systems like a living storm. Sarath stepped aside, allowing Mira to stand before the assembly. Captain Hayes, he said, You requested full access to our research. We grant it. What can humanity offer against this? Mira studied the map for a long moment. The anomaly pulsed with an eerie rhythm, consuming light and matter without pattern or pause. She saw the paths of doomed fleets, the failed experiments of countless scientists. To most, it was chaos. To Mira, it looked like a problem waiting for a daring mind. She nodded to Dr. Lila Voss. The engineer stepped forward, placing a small device on the council table. A holographic model sprang to life, a three-dimensional replica of the anomaly with streams of light twisting through its center. This is not random, Lila began, her voice calm but firm. Your scans show unstable gravitational currents. They are not natural. They are resonant. Think of it as a cosmic vibration, a pattern we can disrupt. Counselor Imara of the Selnari leaned forward, her blue eyes wide. Disrupt how? By creating a counterwave, Lila explained. If we introduce a controlled gravitational pulse at the right frequency, we can collapse the anomaly's core before it reaches the inner systems. A murmur of disbelief filled the chamber. General Carr of the Rylands rumbled a deep growl. Impossible. We have tried gravitational weapons. They failed. Because you fought it directly, Lila replied. Humans won't fight it. We will dance with it. We ride the edge of the anomaly, using its own energy to power the counterwave. Several delegates exchanged worried glances. The plan sounded more like madness than science. Admiral Sarath's silver eyes narrowed. The edge of the anomaly destroys anything that enters. Your ship would be torn apart. Mira stepped forward. Only if we hesitate. Our ship is built for risk. Humans adapt faster than any algorithm. We will approach the boundary, deploy the pulse, and escape before the collapse. Escape? Carr snorted. You speak as if survival is certain. It isn't, Mira said simply. But it's possible. That's enough. Her calm confidence silenced the chamber. For a moment, even the most cautious council members felt the spark of something they had nearly forgotten. Hope. Counselor Imara tilted her head. Your plan requires technology we do not possess. How will you generate such a pulse? Isaac opened the slim case and revealed a compact quantum drive, its surface glowing with soft blue light. We brought this, he said. It's a human prototype. It converts the anomaly's own gravitational shear into energy. Dangerous, yes, but powerful enough to create the counterwave. Gasps echoed around the room. The drive represented a level of engineering none of the Council's greatest minds had achieved. Humanity had not only survived their centuries of silence, they had advanced. Sirath studied the device, then looked at Mira. This plan carries the risk of total destruction. If you fail, the anomaly will consume your ship, and the galaxy will lose its last chance. Mira met his gaze without fear. If we do nothing, the galaxy is lost anyway. Risk is the only path left. The chamber fell into heavy silence. One by one, the council members whispered among themselves, their languages blending into a chorus of tension. Finally, Admiral Sarath raised his hand. The council will vote, he announced. Lights flickered across the chamber as each delegate cast their decision. Moments later, the results glowed above the map. Approved by majority. Sarath turned back to Mira. The council grants permission for your mission. May your courage match your words, Mira gave a small nod. It always does. Preparations began immediately. Alien technicians swarmed the Dauntless, attaching sensors and transferring the latest anomaly data. Engineers from half a dozen species worked side by side with the human crew, their cautious respect slowly turning to admiration. Dr. Lila Voss guided a group of Therelian crystal scientists through the calibration of the quantum drive, explaining each step in clear, simple terms. The aliens listened with fascination, amazed at the humans' ability to combine precision with daring. Meanwhile, Mira met privately with Admiral Sarath in the station's observation deck. Through the transparent dome, the dying star below cast a faint glow across their faces. You know this mission may kill you, Sarath said quietly. Mira looked out at the endless stars. Every mission may kill us. But if we succeed, we save everything. Sarath studied her for a long time. Your kind. You are unlike any other. Where we see boundaries, you see doors. Mira allowed herself a faint smile. That's why you called us. Sarath inclined his head. May the stars guide you, Captain. Hours later, the Dauntless detached from the Ark station and turned toward the darkness. Its engines flared, carrying it into the unknown. Inside, the crew worked with quiet determination. Every calculation, every adjustment mattered. Isaac sat beside Mira at the command console. "We have the data. We have the drive. Now all we need is luck." Mira's eyes stayed on the swirling void ahead. "Humans don't wait for luck," she said softly. "We make it." Beyond the viewport, the first faint ripples of the anomaly appeared, waves of distorted light bending the stars like liquid. It was beautiful and deadly, a cosmic storm unlike anything the galaxy had ever faced. The crew of the Dauntless prepared to dive into the heart of it, carrying a plan no alien mind would dare attempt. For the first time in history, the galaxy's survival rested in human hands, and Mira Hayes, calm and unshaken, whispered to herself the words that had carried her species through countless impossible trials. "It's not impossible. It's just never been tried." The Dauntless cut through the darkness of space, a lone ship carrying humanity's courage into the heart of the unknown. Outside, the stars twisted and shimmered as if bending around an invisible storm. The anomaly loomed ahead, a massive swirl of shadow and light expanding faster than any human or alien mind could comprehend. Captain Mira Hayes stood at the command deck, eyes scanning the swirling chaos. Her hands rested lightly on the console, not because she needed it, but because humans often found comfort in touch. The ship hummed under the strain of the engines, quantum drives balancing delicately against gravitational distortions. Every calculation had been triple-checked, yet nothing could guarantee success. Lieutenant Isaac Chen worked at the navigation panel, adjusting thrusters as ripples of distorted gravity reached the Dauntless. "The anomaly's edge is unstable," he said, his voice tight with tension. "Every second we approach, it shifts unpredictably." Mira's gaze stayed fixed on the patterns of light. "That's why we don't charge blindly," she said. "We read it. We move with it." Outside the viewport, the anomaly pulsed like a living heartbeat. Waves of energy rolled across its surface, bending space and time in chaotic arcs. To most beings, it would have been terrifying, even incomprehensible. To Mira, it was a puzzle, waiting for a solution no one else dared to attempt. The human crew moved with quiet precision. Engineers adjusted the quantum drive, calibrating it to absorb and redirect the anomaly's gravitational energy. Every adjustment required split-second timing, and every error could tear the ship apart. Dr. Lila Voss stood over the main console, hands flying across the controls. "We're entering the outer currents," she said, her voice calm but firm. "Stabilizers at 98%. Any more strain and the hull could fail." Isaac glanced at her. "We can do it?" "We must do it," she replied. Mira turned to her crew. "Remember, we don't fight it. We flow with it. The moment we resist, we fail. Trust the ship. Trust yourselves." The crew nodded. In the silence that followed, only the hum of the engines and the strange pulse of the anomaly filled the ship. The Dauntless entered the first wave of gravitational turbulence. Space itself seemed to stretch and twist around them. Stars shimmered in impossible patterns. The ship's hull groaned under the strain, warning lights flickering across the control panels. Isaac's hands flew over the navigation controls, adjusting lateral thrusters. "We're riding the currents." Mira's eyes narrowed. "Good, keep it steady. Wait for the right moment." The anomaly responded like a living creature, surging and twisting unpredictably. Outside, a streak of light twisted across the void. An alien research vessel caught in the anomaly. Mira flinched but did not stop. The humans had no time to mourn. Every second counted. "Focus on the counterwave," she reminded Lila. "We only get one chance at this." Dr. Voss's fingers danced across the controls, sending pulses into the quantum drive. Energy cascaded from the ship into the anomaly, feeding the gravitational currents with a calculated rhythm. The anomaly shuddered. For a moment, it seemed as if the chaos might respond, bending around the pulses. "Good reaction," Lila said, her voice tight with concentration. "But it's unstable. Adjust frequency by 0.3. Isaac quickly made the adjustments. The ship lurched as the pulse synchronized with the anomaly's chaotic energy. Outside, a ripple moved across the shadow, spreading outward like waves in water. Mira gripped the console. "Hold steady. Don't overcorrect." Minutes stretched like hours. The anomaly pulsed with violent energy. Yet the humans danced at its edge, following its rhythm instead of resisting it. Every movement required instinct, courage, and trust. A combination no alien technology could replicate. Incoming fluctuation, Isaac warned. A spike in the core currents. Hull integrity at 74%. Mira did not panic. Compensate now. Engineers twisted controls, rerouted power, and stabilized the ship just in time. The Dauntless shivered, a loud metallic groan echoing through the hull, but it held together. Dr. Voss exhaled. We're still alive, just... Mira allowed herself a small nod. Good. Now we go deeper. The heart of the anomaly stretched ahead, a swirling vortex of shadow and light. Every instinct told the humans to turn back, but turning back meant failure for the galaxy. They pushed forward, guided by calculations, intuition, and courage. Isaac glanced at Mira. Captain, the vortex is pulling us in. We can't hold the edges much longer. That's the point, Mira said quietly. We don't hold the edges. We ride them. The ship tilted sharply as gravitational waves tore through space. Light bent around the hull, casting eerie reflections across the deck. Crew members held onto rails as the anomaly's pull intensified. Now deploy the counterwave, Mira commanded. Dr. Voss activated the quantum drive. A beam of pure energy shot into the heart of the anomaly, matching its chaotic rhythm. The ship trembled violently as the anomaly reacted. Space itself seemed to scream. Outside, the swirling darkness convulsed. Ripples of light exploded outward, radiating across the void. The anomaly buckled under the human pulse, its chaotic energy bending to the rhythm of the counterwave. Pulse stable. Lila shouted. It's working! Mira's eyes narrowed, focused on every flicker of the anomaly. Keep it steady. Don't let it slip. The anomaly surged again, stronger, twisting unpredictably. Warning lights flashed. The ship shook violently, and a section of the hull vented plasma. Crew members gritted their teeth and held their stations. Every second felt like a lifetime. Isaac shouted over the alarms. Captain, the pulse is destabilizing. Mira made a split-second decision. We ride it. Increase frequency by 1.5. Adjust lateral thrusters. Engineers moved quickly, their hands flying across the consoles. The ship tilted sharply, skimming the heart of the anomaly. Outside, streams of gravitational energy twisted around the Dauntless, yet the pulse held. The anomaly screamed. For the first time, it seemed to resist, fighting the human intervention. Yet the counterwave persisted, a steady rhythm pushing back the chaos. Minutes passed, though they felt like hours. The anomaly buckled again, waves of dark energy collapsing inward. Mira's eyes never left the swirling vortex. Her heart pounded, but her mind was calm, focused on the rhythm, the pulse, the flow. Hull integrity at 48%, Isaac shouted. We can't last much longer if it spikes again. Then we finish now, Mira said. Full pulse! Maximum frequency. Dr. Voss activated the quantum drive at full capacity. Energy shot into the anomaly in a brilliant arc, bending the surrounding space. The vortex trembled violently, then slowly began to collapse. Darkness gave way to light. Shadow gave way to order. The crew of the Dauntless held their breath as the anomaly convulsed one last time, then broke apart. The swirling chaos shrank into nothingness, leaving empty, stable space behind. Silence filled the ship. Outside, stars returned to their natural positions. The universe seemed to exhale. Isaac slumped in his chair. We did it, Dr. Voss smiled faintly. It's over. The anomaly is gone. Mira stood, hands trembling slightly with exhaustion, but her face held calm determination. Not over, she said quietly. We just survived the impossible. Now we help the rest of the galaxy recover. Far away aboard the Ark station, Admiral Sarath and the Council watched the live feed of the anomaly. The swirling chaos had vanished. Stars once lost to darkness now shone again. Beings across the chamber whispered in awe, their fear replaced by wonder. Impossible, muttered General Carr. How did they do it? Sarath's silver eyes shone with a mixture of respect and disbelief. Humans, he said softly. They do what no one else can. They see what others cannot. Counselor Imara stepped forward, her voice trembling. They saved us all. Our fleets, our worlds, everything. All because they dared, Sarath nodded slowly. And they will continue to do so. Humanity is unlike any species we have ever known. Back on the Dauntless, Mira and her crew breathed quietly, exhausted but triumphant. The impossible had been attempted and achieved. Space, once full of despair, now held hope. Mira looked at the stars ahead. This is only the beginning, she whispered. Somewhere across the galaxy, civilizations would learn that humans were not to be underestimated. And when the next impossible challenge arose, they would know who to call. For now, the humans had proved one simple truth. When every mind fails, one human can make all the difference. The Dauntless floated in quiet space, its hull scarred from the journey through the anomaly. The stars, once bent and twisted by chaotic energy, now shone clearly again, bright and steady. Inside the ship, Captain Mira Hayes and her crew took a moment to breathe. Their hands were still on consoles, their minds alert, but relief was slowly settling in. The impossible had been achieved. Lieutenant Isaac Chen leaned back in his chair, rubbing his tired eyes. I can't believe it, he whispered. We actually did it. Dr. Lila Voss allowed herself a small smile. We survived, she said softly, and we saved countless lives. Mira remained standing, eyes fixed on the stars beyond the viewport. Her mind was already moving ahead. The anomaly was gone, but the galaxy had been wounded. Systems were destroyed, fleets lost, and entire civilizations were in shock. The work was far from over. We go home? Isaac asked uncertainly. Mira shook her head. Not yet. First, we make sure everyone knows what happened, then we rebuild. Back at the Ark Station, the council chamber was alive with a new energy. Where there had been fear, there was now awe. The stars outside the windows shone steadily, a reminder of the chaos that had almost consumed the galaxy. Admiral Sarath stood before the council, his silver eyes bright with respect and gratitude. The humans have done what no fleet, no weapon, no scientist could accomplish. They have stopped the anomaly. The room erupted in whispers, murmurs, and cries of relief. Some delegates leaned toward each other, sharing disbelief. Others wept quietly, grateful that their homes had been saved. The galaxy had been on the brink of destruction, and now hope had returned. Counselor Imara of the Selnari spoke softly, but her words carried across the chamber. They risked everything. They faced a force no one could fight, and they succeeded. General Carr of the Rylans, usually a figure of stern judgment, rumbled thoughtfully. Humans, they are not like us. They are something else, Sarath nodded. Indeed, we have underestimated them for too long. Humanity is a force unlike any other in the galaxy, bold, daring, and unafraid to face the impossible. The Dauntless approached the Ark Station again, its engines glowing softly. Mira guided the ship carefully into docking. The crew was quiet, each member feeling the weight of their achievement. As the docking clamp secured the ship, Mira stepped onto the council chamber floor. The room went silent. Every delegate turned their attention to the humans. For centuries they had been forgotten. For centuries they had been silent. And now they stood before the galaxy as saviors. Sarath stepped forward. Captain Hayes, your courage has changed the course of history. Your people have shown the galaxy what determination, creativity, and courage can accomplish. We owe you everything. Mira bowed her head slightly. We did not act for thanks, she said. We acted because someone called for help. Because the galaxy was in danger, and because we could. Counselor Imara stepped closer. You are unlike any species we have known. The humans remind us that hope exists even when all seems lost. The chamber was filled with quiet murmurs of agreement. For the first time in generations, the representatives of the galaxy felt something they had not felt in decades. Awe at the potential of one species. Outside the council chamber, Mira and her crew were shown a display of the anomaly's former path. Stars that had been darkened now shimmered again. Entire systems had been spared from destruction, though many had suffered damage. Ships that had been lost would need rebuilding. Worlds would need care, but the most important thing remained. Life endured. Isaac studied the holographic map. All that chaos, and it's gone. Just like that. Mira shook her head. Not gone. It's been stopped. We bent it to reason. That's what humans do. We solve problems that others cannot. Dr. Voss nodded. And now the galaxy has a chance to recover, to learn from what we've done. The council representatives watched the humans with a mixture of admiration and disbelief. Many had spent centuries relying on technology, logic, and caution. Yet here was a species that had faced the impossible, not with rules or formulas, but with courage, intuition, and creativity. Sarath stepped closer to Mira. Your people. You have reminded us that survival is more than calculation. It is daring. It is courage. It is hope. Mira's eyes softened. Then teach that to those who need it. Humanity will help where we are needed, but the galaxy must remember that hope is not given. It is created. Word of the humans' success spread across the stars faster than any message could travel. Ships in orbit, planets on the edge of destruction, and civilizations far from the anomaly all heard the story. Humans had faced a cosmic threat and survived. Where others had failed, they had succeeded. For some, the revelation was shocking. How could a species thought extinct achieve what the most advanced fleets could not? How could beings once considered primitive bend the rules of the universe itself? For others, it was inspiring. Stories of the Dauntless and its crew became legends, told across dinner tables, spaceports, and council chambers alike. Children who had never seen humans dreamed of their courage. Scientists began to study human methods, learning that instinct, improvisation, and daring often worked where logic alone could not. And everywhere, one truth became clear. When all else failed, humans answered the call. On the Dauntless, the crew prepared for the journey home. Repairs were underway, systems recalibrated, and supplies restocked. The ship had survived one of the most dangerous phenomena in the galaxy, but the crew knew this was only the beginning of their responsibility. Mira stood on the deck, looking at the stars. "We've proven that we can do what others cannot," she said quietly. "But the galaxy is fragile. It will need guidance. It will need hope. And humans, we will be there." Isaac smiled faintly. "Do you think the Council will ever trust us completely?" Mira laughed softly. "Trust isn't given, Isaac, it's earned. And tonight we earned more than anyone imagined." Dr. Voss joined them. "And the anomaly?" she asked. "It's gone," Mira said. "For now. But space will always have its challenges. That's the universe's way. And humanity. Well, we never shy away from challenges." In the council chamber, Admiral Sarath addressed the representatives once more. "Let this be a lesson to all of us. Even when every calculation fails, even when despair seems absolute, there is always the possibility that courage and ingenuity can succeed." The humans have reminded us of that truth. Counselor Imara nodded. "From now on, humanity is no longer a forgotten species. They are a force to be reckoned with. A reminder that hope can come from the most unexpected places." Across the galaxy, ships turned toward safe paths, scientists returned to their work, and leaders breathed easier. The darkness had been held back and a new dawn had begun. Mira and her crew, quiet and unassuming, returned to the Dauntless, ready to continue their journey. They had saved the galaxy from destruction, but their mission was far from over. Humanity had returned to the stars not as a forgotten race, but as a symbol of courage, daring, and hope. And somewhere in the council chambers, across countless worlds, the same thought spread: when all else fails, call a human, because a human will answer.